Welcome, weary traveler. Let yourself settle in, get comfortable, and allow yourself to drift as we journey together through the ancient world of dark souls, a world of cycles, of light and dark, of kingdoms risen and fallen like the tide. There's no need to focus too intently on every word. Let the story wash over you like waves upon a distant shore. If your mind wanders, that's perfectly fine. The lore will be here, a gentle companion as you drift toward rest. Our tale begins not with fire, but with what came before. In the age of ancients, the world was unformed, shrouded in fog, a land of gray crags, arch trees, and everlasting dragons. There was no life, no death, no light, no dark, only gray stillness, unchanging, eternal. But then there was fire. Deep beneath the surface of this gray world, something stirred. The first flame appeared, and with it came disparity. Heat and cold, life and death, light and dark. From the dark they came, beings who had lived in shadow, formless and forgotten. But near the flame they found something. Within its light lay souls, great souls of immense power waiting to be claimed. Gwyn, the Lord of Sunlight, found a Lord soul, brilliant and warm as the sun itself. His soul blazed with lightning, and he became the mightiest of lords. The witch of Izalith found a Lord soul too, glowing with the essence of life itself. From her soul came flame and sorcery, the power to create and nurture. Nito, the first of the dead, claimed a Lord soul that thrummed with the energy of death. Where others saw endings, Nito found power in the cycle of mortality. And there was a fourth soul, a different soul, the dark soul, so easily forgotten, but we'll return to that in time. These lords looked upon the everlasting dragons that ruled the world above, and they knew what must be done. The age of ancients had to end. The age of fire must begin. Gwyn's mighty knights prepared for war. They were titans themselves, warriors of legend. Ornstein, the dragon slayer, with his spear of lightning. The four knights stood ready, each a legend in their own right. But dragons were eternal, their stone scales impervious to all harm. How does one kill that which cannot die? Seth the Scaleless provided the answer, a dragon himself, but born without scales, born different, scorned by his own kind. In his jealousy and genius, Seth betrayed the dragons. He revealed their weakness. The scales were not impenetrable after all. The witch of Izalith summoned great firestorms that stripped the ancient scales away. Nito unleashed death itself, a miasma of disease and decay that the dragons had never known. And Gwyn's lightning bolts rained down, shattering the stone bodies of these ancient beings. One by one, the everlasting dragons fell. The arch trees burned, the gray crags crumbled, and from the ashes of the old world, the age of fire began. Gwyn claimed his throne in Anor Londo, the city of the gods, where the sun would always shine bright. The witch of Izalith returned to her domain, where her daughters practiced the flame sorceries their mother had perfected. Nito descended deep into the catacombs, into the tomb of the giants, where death itself would make its home. For a time, there was peace. For a time, the flame burned bright. But fire fades. It always does. Let yourself breathe slowly in and out as we walk through the kingdoms built in this age of fire. Lordran was magnificent once. Its halls rang with laughter. Its forges burned bright with purpose. Kingdoms rose under Gwyn's rule. Humans discovered the bonfires, those fragments of the first flame that provided light in the darkness. But something was wrong. The gods began to notice something about humanity. Within each human was a fragment of that fourth soul, the dark soul. And as humans died, they did not always stay dead. They returned hollow, empty shells driven by basic instincts. The undead curse began to spread, slowly at first, then faster. Men and women would lose themselves, their humanity fading like smoke until only a hollow remained. Some were locked away in the undead asylum, a prison in the far north, sealed away and forgotten. Gwyn saw the truth. The flame was fading, his age of fire was dying, and as it died, the dark grew stronger. The abyss began to spread. In Ulachail, a peaceful land of ancient magic, something terrible happened. They delved too deep, disturbed something that should have remained buried. The abyss consumed the land. The citizens became twisted creatures of darkness. Artorias, greatest of Gwyn's knights, marched to save them. But even Artorias fell. The abyss corrupted him, twisted him. The wolf knight, the hero, became a nightmare himself. The witch of Izalith saw the flame fading too. In her desperation to preserve the age of fire, to keep the light burning, she attempted to recreate the first flame using her own Lord's soul. It was a mistake, a terrible, tragic mistake. The ritual went wrong. The flame she created was chaotic, wild, consuming. It wasn't the first flame reborn. It was something else entirely. The flame of chaos. The fire consumed Izalith. The witch and her daughters were transformed into something monstrous. The bed of chaos, a writhing, burning horror that birthed demons endlessly. Her daughter Quelag became half spider, forever bound to feed the flames with humanity. Another daughter, Quelana, fled and survived, carrying the guilt of her mother's failure. Lost Izalith became a tomb of lava and demons, a monument to the price of desperation. And still, the first flame continued to fade. Let your breathing slow. Feel yourself sinking deeper into comfort as we approach the end of Lord Gwyn's tale. Gwyn knew what he had to do. The witch's attempt had failed catastrophically. Nito slumbered in his tomb, unable or unwilling to act. The flame needed fuel. It needed a soul of immense power. It needed a Lord soul. Gwyn divided his Lord soul among his most faithful followers. His knights received fragments of his lightning. Seath the Scaleless, granted the title of Duke for his betrayal of the dragons, received knowledge and power. The 4 kings of Julondo received their own fragment. But Gwyn kept the greatest portion for himself, because he knew what came next. The kiln of the first flame waited at the world's end. Gwyn walked there alone, leaving his kingdom behind, leaving his children behind, leaving everything he had built, and he cast himself into the fire. His soul became fuel for the flame. Lord Gwyn, the mighty god of sunlight, whose lightning had shattered dragons, burned. For centuries he burned. His power kept the flame alive, kept the age of fire lingering just a little longer. But even a Lord's soul has limits. Even Gwyn's sacrifice was only temporary. By the time you arrive in Lordran, what remains of Gwyn is barely more than a hollow himself, a shell, guarding the flame out of instinct, having long forgotten why. Now we come to you, the chosen undead. Let yourself relax completely as we consider your journey. You begin in the undead asylum, forgotten like so many others. But you are different. You escape. You make your way to Lordran, guided by prophecy, guided by fate, or perhaps guided by nothing at all. The primordial serpents speak of prophecy. Framp tells you that you are chosen to succeed Gwyn, to link the fire and continue the age of fire. that you will become the fuel the flame needs. But Darkstalker Kati whispers different words. He speaks of the Dark Lord, of accepting the natural order, that the age of fire must end, that the age of dark should begin, that humanity's true nature should be embraced. Both serpents claim to know the truth. Perhaps both are lying. Perhaps both believe what they say. You ring the bells of awakening. You brave Sen's fortress. You walk the golden halls of Anor Londo and discover the truth, that Gwyn is gone, that the gods have fled or faded, that Guinevere is merely an illusion created by Gwyndolin, the dark sun, who remains in the empty city maintaining a beautiful lie. You gather the Lord's souls. You face the corrupted creations and fallen heroes, the four kings, consumed by the abyss, Seath the scaleless, driven mad in his search for immortality, the bed of chaos, still burning with the witch's mistake, and Nito, the Death Lord, still administering death from his ancient tomb. Each soul brings you closer to the kiln. Each victory brings you closer to your choice. And so you stand where Gwyn once stood, at the kiln of the first flame. The world holds its breath. The fire flickers, weak, nearly dead. You can link the fire as Frampt wishes. Cast yourself into the flames as Gwyn did. Sacrifice your soul, yourself, to keep the light burning just a little longer. Continue the cycle. Postpone the inevitable. Or you can walk away. Let the flame die. Embrace the dark, as Kata suggests. Become the Dark Lord and usher in the Age of Dark, also called the Age of Man. End a cycle, or perhaps begin a new one. There is no right answer presented to you. Both paths have meaning. Both paths have cost. The beauty of Dark Souls is this uncertainty, this ambiguity. Even the gods didn't know the right path. Gwyn feared the dark so much he burned himself to keep it at bay. But was the dark truly evil, or was it simply different, natural? The inevitable conclusion of a cycle. Humanity carries the dark soul. Are humans meant to fear their own nature or embrace it? These questions have no easy answers, and perhaps that's exactly right. As you drift now toward sleep, let these thoughts fade like the first flame itself. The kingdoms rise and fall and rise again. The fire burns and fades and burns again. The cycle continues, endless, eternal. But you, weary undead, can rest now. Your journey is done, at least for tonight. The bonfires will be here when you wake. The bells will ring again. The lords will rise and fall once more. For now, let go and drift into the comfortable dark. There is no curse here, no hollowing, only rest. The age of fire, the age of dark. These can wait. Sleep well, chosen undead. Sleep well,